These are the highest grossing video game movies of all time at the box office, and it's kind of hilarious how if you go back in time like 10 to 20 years ago, even video game movies were the joke of the movie industry, and now these films are almost breaking records, especially over the last like 2 years in particular. This list is kind of wild, so let's get right into it. In 12th place is the reason for this video existing in the first place. It's a Minecraft movie, which in its opening weekend alone has already made $301 million worldwide, and I'm sure by the time another week passes, this is going to jump up another like 4 to 5 spots, and by the time like a month passes, this honestly might end up being in the top two, maybe even number one. In all of my box office predictions video, I said this movie was definitely going to be a success, and even said maybe it did have a chance of hitting $1 billion, but even I really didn't think it was likely that it would be this big of a film. And I honestly think a huge portion of it is not just because it's attached to one of the most, if not the most famous video game of all time in Minecraft. I literally think all the memes that have came out of this, like the chicken jockey I am Steve quotes that have just taken over social media, is the reason this movie had such a big boost compared to what everybody was expecting. Like, people see these theater reaction videos of people losing their mind over everything he says and chicken jockey and all that stuff, and they're like, I want to be a part of that. Plus, when you're a family movie, you're gonna make more money anyways, because if a kid wants to go and see it, that's him, maybe his sibling, and the parents. That's 4 tickets you're selling compared to like 1 ticket. Number 11 is Resident Evil: The Final Chapter with $311 million worldwide. Will very quickly be kicked off and down a position by the Minecraft movie. Kind of surprising that this actually made this much, but I guess Resident Evil movies did have faith from the general public at one point in time. At number 10 is actually the Sonic movie. Surprisingly only made $320 million worldwide. It did release in 2020, but it was like a full month and a half before everything shut down, so that really isn't an excuse. I guess people really just weren't sure if this franchise was going to be good or not. I'm honestly not the biggest fan of the first two Sonic movies, but I do think they do keep increasing, and the third one was easily the best, so I guess people just kind of waited for this one till it came out on like home video. Number 9 is The Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, which it actually ended up making $336 million worldwide at the box office, which is kind of surprising, but it did have a pretty solid cast. At number 8 is the Angry Birds movie. The first one, spoiler alert, the second one made less money than this one, but this one made $352 million worldwide. There are rumors going around now that they are trying to make a third one still. I really don't think that movie's going to do well because these have completely fallen out of relevance, but back when this movie released, the Angry Birds game was absolutely just taking over the world, one of the most downloaded games on the App Store at the time. At number 7 is Sonic's second appearance on this list with Sonic the Hedgehog 2. This one jumped up to $405 million at the worldwide box office. Kind of makes sense, a slight jump from the first one, because again, people saw it on home video, and plus this one introduced other iconic characters. Now we have Tails and Knuckles. I feel like more people were obviously going to go and see this one. Still kind of smaller numbers than you would think for a character this big, but obviously still a successful franchise. Just beating out Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is the Uncharted movie. This made $407 million. Kind of surprising. Like, I knew the games were huge, but this movie was not very good. I guess it kind of got carried by the cast, even though it wasn't very accurate to the characters in the game. It is kind of a shame that this is probably like the only Uncharted movie adaptation we're ever going to get for a long time, because it really just did not represent the games that well. It felt more of like an in-name only, kind of inspired by a story more than anything. Again, the box office was probably boasted up by the fact that it had Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg, two very marketable names. At number 5 is surprisingly the movie Rampage. Yes, based off a very old video game, but I feel like this made its $428 million, mostly based off the fact that it was a Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson action movie and him like fighting a giant ape, as you can see in the background, more than the fact that this is actually connected to a video game property, because maybe I'm asleep on this, but I do not think this game was even that popular back when it was out. Like, obviously it was popular, but like, are people really being like, oh, I need to go see the adaptation of that? Probably not. At number 4 with $439 million worldwide is the World of Warcraft film Warcraft. Now obviously World of Warcraft is an extremely popular game. It has been for like 20 years or something at this point, probably even longer. I don't know, I'm not a World of Warcraft player, but when this movie released back in 2016, it actually was the highest grossing video game movie of all time. At number 3 is Detective Pikachu. Obviously Pokemon is one of the most, if not the most famous IP and brand of all time, so this makes a lot of sense. This movie made $450 million, which is honestly kind of surprisingly low. Maybe if it was just like a Pikachu movie or something with a different name instead of Detective Pikachu, it would have made more money. Someone not really into Pokemon, this movie was not bad at all. It wasn't like blowing me away or anything, and I definitely think it does deserve to have a sequel, maybe expand upon this and kind of fine-tune some of the things that weren't great about the first film, and it could really be great and make a lot more money for them. At number 2 is Sonic the Hedgehog 3, which has made $491 million. Obviously, this just came out in December. This franchise just keeps making more and more money. We'll have to see if Sonic the Hedgehog 4 can end up beating this film and making that $500 million. It comes out in 2027. Obviously, again, they just keep adding more iconic characters. This one with Shadow, you knew it was going to be a huge success, and I think this is easily by far the best of the trilogy, so I am happy that this made the most money. Although probably in like 2 or 3 weeks time, this is going to be bypassed by the Minecraft movie for the number 2 spot, which is just crazy. But at number 1 is the Super Mario Bros. Movie from 2023. This thing made $1.3 billion at the box office, absolutely blew away the competition of every other video game movie on this entire list. Makes sense, again, just like Pokemon, Mario is right up there with one of the most recognizable brands of all time worldwide. Minecraft movie actually had a better opening weekend than this. We'll have to see if it's more front-loaded or not, if it can actually hold on and beat this movie. It's going to be very hard for it to pull off $1.3 billion, but I do think it's possible with the power of Chicken Jockey. Let me know what your biggest surprise was on this list, anything you thought would be on here that wasn't. And check out my ranking of my favorite characters from a Minecraft movie or things that can make the Minecraft movie 2 perfect. Click one of the videos on screen right now.